We're going to work on some mobilization techniques that you can do for yourself for your shoulder. What I recommend you use is a lacrosse ball if you have that available to you. A lacrosse ball is firm, but it does have a soft coating, so it makes the pressure very tolerable. If you have something that's flared up or irritated or nothing else available, a tennis ball or a racquetball will do well for that. If you want it to be really aggressive, you could use a baseball or a golf ball, but because those are firmer, they're just going to be more intense. So the first muscles we want to talk about are our pectoralis muscles, right? So our pec muscles run from the center of our chest along the bottom of our collarbone into the front of our shoulder. If we put pressure in the front of our shoulder, that's always going to be a sensitive spot because that's where the tendon is. All these techniques, when we're applying them, we want to apply them to the muscle, not to the tendon. So a lot of us are tight in the front of our shoulders because we sit too much, we're at a desk, or we're eating, whatever it is, right? So as we sit, our shoulders get rounded forward, and we need to stretch that out. So a lot of times we think of it as weakness in the back of the shoulder, but sometimes it's just actually tension on the front of the shoulder. And if we can loosen that up, we can get into a better position. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that lacrosse ball and we're just going to line it up with the muscle, so right below my collarbone, and I'm going to put some pressure into the door frame here. If you have a rack or something else, that will work really well, but a door frame works great. So as I put pressure there, what I'm trying to do is I'm tacking that muscle down, right? The ball is pressing against me and tacking that muscle down. Now as that muscle is tacked down and I mobilize my arm up and down the wall, that gives me a nice release of that tension. And then I can play around with that. Maybe I need to move more towards my chest or more towards my shoulder or towards the collarbone or lower. And I want to find my spot where I find tension. So this is a good starting spot, but what we really want to do is get into that retracted shoulder position. So I find my tense spot and then I pull that arm back. And that gives me a nice release. We also want to work on externally rotating the arm in this position. And that'll also give us a nice release for that pec muscle. So play around with that, find your spot. The other things that work really well standing with the door frame is working on our deltoid muscle. So the deltoid muscle is the muscle that goes over the top of our shoulder. So if I just lean up against the wall into the deltoid muscle and I rotate my arm in and out, that gives me a nice release after I found my pressure spot. If I want to work on the back of the deltoid, I just kind of rotate away a little bit and I find my pressure spot. And then I rotate that arm back and forth. If I want to work on the front of the deltoid, same idea, but I rotate towards the wall, find my pressure spot, and rotate in and out. We can also work on our bicep in this position. So we just move the ball a little bit further down, and the ball is creating a outside to inside pressure along our bicep. So as I apply pressure to the bicep, I just bend and straighten the elbow. And again, I can play around with that. Maybe I need to be higher on the bicep or lower on the bicep. With all these techniques, if I need more pressure, because as it loosens up, I will do better with more pressure, I just step away from the wall a little bit more so I can lean into it a little bit more, right? More body weight. If it's too much, I get a little closer to the wall and that eases it up a little bit. So that's how we're going to use the lacrosse ball to work on our pec muscles, our deltoid, and our bicep. The next few things we'll do will be working on the traps and the back muscles, but we do those laying down, so that'll be in the next video.